Welcome to another episode of the Bourbon Experience, episode number 14, if we're counting. And are we counting?
I don't care.
You don't care. We're just having fun. That's what it comes down to. New content here. We wanted to do something that was, I think a lot of people are doing this. Not a lot of people, but we wanted to kind of just do it for ourselves. What we're going to do is we're going to rank our favorite bourbons per price range. So 10 to 20, 20 to 30, 30 to 40, 40 to 50, all the way up until 70 plus.
Yeah, once we get to 70, our experience so far is pretty limited with that higher echelon of bourbons. And so we kind of crunched it down, anything over $70. And this is all according to Ohio MSRP.
In the meantime, we're going to be sipping on a little bit of a brand new bottle that I bought of the Old Forester 1897 bottled in bond. All right, so what we're going to do is Nathan will pull out, we'll talk about our favorite ones. The first one is, and you'll see it right here, $10 to $20 bourbons. So what was your favorite?
We were unanimous on this.
We were on this one. Yep.
Evan Williams bottled in bond.
Mm-hmm. I just don't think you can find a better, I was trying to rack my brain yesterday and today a little bit of, is there a better bottle that you can find for under $20? And I don't think you can.
There are arguments that you can have, really tough. And I was going to joke around about possibly even pulling out the old Granddad over this. But this still has a little bit more meat on the bones than the old Granddad regular, which is why I went with the bottle in bond. And I believe all of mine pretty much kind of go bonded or higher.
Do they? Yeah.
I think so.
That'd be interesting to see. So, okay, so for 10 to 20, we both picked.
Yeah, all mine do.
Do they really?
Yeah, they do.
So we both picked the Evan Williams bottled in bond. So now we're going to take a look at from $20 to $30. And so this was I thought was going to be a lot tougher. But it was not, at least for me, because there was a lot of stuff that was good, but this one for me kind of was straightforward. But
yeah, well, this one came. I had like 5 different ones that were grouped into this one. I had Buffalo Trace in there, but ultimately I didn't go with that one. I went, actually keeping in line with Old Forester. I went with Old Forester 100. And this one, just the first time I had this was the aroma of this one threw me right back to an experience I had back in my teenage years, walking into Jacobs Field at Cleveland. It took me right back in there. It smelled like this just fresh cracked peanuts.
Yeah.
The ballpark smell was there. It floored. You were there.
Yeah.
And I was just kind of like, wow, that was like the first real experiential kind of bourbon that I had where it just threw me right back into my memory hole.
Yeah.
And so this one took the crown for my 20 to 30.
Okay. All right. So there we go. So the Old Forester for you was Old Forester 100 was yours. Mine is Buffalo Trace. And I struggled a little bit with this one because I didn't want to be, I was trying to figure out every time I have Buffalo Trace, it's just, I'm not disappointed. And I get it. Some people will call that a beginner's bourbon. It's $25 here in Ohio. It's not always readily available. But for me, I really enjoy the Buffalo Trace. You just can't lose.
It's reliable.
It really is. And I think that's part of the reason why I chose it was because like every time I open it up and drink it, I'm happy.
Well, thank God for Frankfort, Kentucky.
Yeah, that's right. Exactly. Okay, so now we're gonna move to our $30 to $40, and this is the one where I was just kind of, this became something. There were some struggles here. There were some battles here for me.
The next two were no-brainers for me, which is really interesting.
Okay,
my struggle is the 50 to 60 range.
This one was a tough one. So what did you pick?
Okay, yeah, my 30 to 40, without a doubt, Old Granddad 114. You get this full flavored version. If you want to look at Old Granddad or Old Granddad Bonded, and how you see this graduation of flavors between going from that first one to that one. Well, the same thing happens going from bonded to this. You graduate from this basically stick of big red chewing gum that you get with
from the bonded.
From the bonded.
Yeah.
And you get this baking spice laden, deep dark caramel flavor for Old Granddad that comes with that proofing behind it, and it just absolutely solidified that 20 to or that 30 to 40. It's Babe Ruth calling it shot in that category.
Oh, you're saying that Babe Ruth was a liar?
You just can't. It's good.
Yeah.
And for, I think, 33
bucks.
For 33 bucks, my pick, and it's gone, was Maker's 46. So obviously I need to get a new bottle of that, right? But this is it's not my favorite Makers anymore after we just had that last weekend experience with the other one. But a very good bourbon from $30 to $40.
Because Makers does actually a good job of actually giving their bourbon, their wheaters, a really good baseline for other things.
Let me say this. I would say it's not really a Makers issue, it's a wheaters issue for you. Makers does a good job. I mean, I know you don't...
Yes and no. Because you give me 107, I'll down that brother like I'm a baby with a bottle.
Yeah.
A bottle?
You know.
Sure. But I guess what I'm saying is, that's not so much a slam on Makers. I don't think it's just you kind of. There's a bit of hype. You're an anti-hip, hypeite.
Anti-dentite.
You're an anti. Name the show.
Yeah.
Whatever. You're a rabid anti-dentite.
You're a rabid anti-dentite.
Okay, so let's move on. Next up is the 40 to 50. This one for me was a no-brainer, but there were so many other bourbons that are going to be left out because this is so good. And I think that's what I was referring to earlier. Is it's just, for me, this is a home run. You on the other hand voted a little bit differently, but there's so many good bourbons in this range. Like, so if you are beginning and you start, okay, hey, I'm working with these and they're tasty, you'll enjoy them. And then it's like, you know what, I want to try something. This is the realm now where we're getting into where it's like, here's Flavorville right here.
Yeah.
I think.
That's the flavor.
So, okay, what did you pick?
Well, mine, this was absolute no-brainer. The minute I got this bottle for the first time just a month and a half ago, maybe, and that's Knob Creek 9.
Can you imagine what 12 is going to be like? We've never had 12 year.
And that's the thing is, like, I bought this. I bought this and a bottle of Knob Creek 7 Rye, and both are just phenomenal whiskeys. This one, you get that traditional Jim Beam nuttiness. It is a full bourbon. It's going to please the senses just across the board.
Yeah. If you've had the 12 year, put a comment in there about it, because that's one of my my unicorn bottles right now that I would love to get my hands on. So, okay, try to get this thing moving. Mine, this is a home. This is not even a question for me. Is E.H. Taylor, and this is their bottled and bond. I've never had
small batch.
No, this is their bottled and bond. Well, small batch bottled and bond. Yeah. Yep. So, haven't had their other ones, which I would love to get. There's some other unicorns for the E.H. Taylor brand that I would love to get my hands on. But for me, E.H. Taylor, you just can't, if you ever find a bottle, this is very hard to find. Even in Ohio, we can't, they'll drop a batch.
Four releases a year.
4 releases maybe, and then you better get to the store real quick, right?
Yeah, they're pretty limited.
So, but to me, the spices, it's more unique than any of these other bourbons as far as I'm concerned. It's a wonderful bottle.
Yeah.
So next up is the 50 to 60.
Yep.
So 50 to 60 bourbons. And Flavorville is in full flow now, right? Is what we're really looking at. And okay, what did you have?
I mean, this was my aha
shocker.
Rare breed.
Yeah.
And this is, without a doubt, my top. It has provided a wow factor nearly every single time because the complexity with rare breed.
It's definitely,
It's so amazing. There's just so many things coming at you.
So mine, this is where the battles come. For me, Weller Antique. Now I've said is depth, cinnamon, baking spices. It's just every time. And I was comparing it before we did the video. I was comparing it with another one, and I was like, there's no doubt to me. There's no it's hands down this one.
You're looking at two guys who have a grand total of really, in terms of dedicated to the hobby kind of thing, 8 months of experience. So really, this video is us talking out of holes that we shouldn't be talking out of.
Right, possibly? You're talking out of your ass.
Okay, so now we're going to 60 to 70, and this one.
This one was challenging.
This one was tough.
Because I was fully anticipating to put Jack Daniel's Barrel Proof right here. And this will actually be our first non-bourbon on this list.
It will. I'm surprised this is over.
Non-bourbon.
I am really surprised this is over the Jack Daniel's.
But it is also our only
barrel
non-bourbon on the list.
That's
actually.
True. That's true.
But it's going to be Rare Breed Rye.
Yeah.
And when I was comparing this one, I compared this with Jack Daniel's Barrel Proof. I compared it with his winner and another one that I'm not recalling off the top of my head. And this one, it has the same complexities that Rare Breed brings. It adds that rye element to it, that spearmint in the mid palate. It's so delicious. And if you want to pour a little bit in your glass,
I'm about ready to. I was gonna. Okay, so for me, I'm having a hard time with this one. This is probably my favorite, but I keep going back and forth. This it is Russell Reserve's Private Barrel Selection. It's a single barrel. This was an OHLQ specific, so that's why they call it a Private Barrel Selection. But it's their single barrel, non-chilled, filtered. Oh my gosh! And if you notice, I'm trying to stay up, not even touch this.
No touchy.
I enjoy it. This is unbelievable. And I would drop. I think I spent 65 on this one.
Yeah, it was 65.
Well, we both bought this one. So it was 65, and I would not hesitate again to buy it for $65. Wouldn't even think twice. 65 to 7 or 60 to 70.
Yeah.
Right. And so the last one we decided to do was 70 and above. So the reason we kind of grouped this one together was because just kind of a little bit of lack of experience in this realm.
Well, in this particular one is $85 because it's a pick.
Yes,
it's an Ohio pick.
It is an Ohio pick.
But if you get this single barrel anywhere, it's going to run you about $75.
Yeah, it will.
But it is incredible.
I've done it neat, and then when I put it on ice, because it's so hot, all those flavors came running through. Definitely our hottest bourbon that we've had. Our brother Alex, this is actually his favorite. He loves this. This is his number one. So
with good reason.
With good reason. And this one is the Elijah Craig single barrel. It's a private barrel. It's an OHLQ barrel proof. So, and it sits at, we're looking at 132 proof. So this is about as hot as it gets, unless you want to start doing Everclear or doing some sort of, junk like that. The flavors, the complexity out of that one is absolutely it's a wonderful bourbon. If you're a beginner, it's not something you want to jump into right now.
No.
If it's something where if you can find it, then jump it. Get it. It's going to cost you. I spent. This is the one I missed Blanton's Gold for, which
I won.
Which he won. But he won. I did.
You know?
I did win.
Oh my God, I am the winner.
This would be in comparison in terms of the 70 to plus category. This is in competition with Blanton's Gold, and it's a winner.
It
beats
destroys
out.
Blanton's Gold, I think.
And that's not to sit there and slight Blanton's Gold in any way.
Yeah.
This just
Yeah.
has everything classic out of a bourbon,
Yeah.
pumped up to 11, even though it's only 10 year.
Yeah.
But that the heat and everything, it's so concentrate that it just is absolute. It's an absolute treasure in the glass.
Yeah.
Is how I would describe it.
So this is what our list was, but we would be a bit remiss to not at least pull a couple of bourbons out. I know we've got a long list, and this is already a long video. The first one was last weekend. Now you had a different pick from this one,
I did,
and this was this is the Maker's Mark.
but it's still delicious.
It's so good. This was in the bonfire. So if you remember in the earlier videos, a couple of videos ago, this is their exclusive OHLQ. They throw different wood staves in there. This one's $75.
Yeah.
But I couldn't put this one over
Not-
the Elijah Craig.
Yeah,
it's but a good bottle. Yeah.
in the 30 to 40 category.
Yeah.
This is a competition to Old Forester 114.
I think so.
It is.
And even definitely to the Makers. This is the one I battled with.
I'm sure you did.
Yeah.
I'm sure you did. I mean, and this stuff is so good.
Well, it won our blind. Okay, and then the last one that we have to put out there. If we don't, it's ridiculous. But the Woodford Double Oat, and I've already. If you've watched the previous videos, you know how I feel about this bottle. The problem is that this bottle, it sits at $55.
Yep.
And so it sat against this and these two.
Rare breed.
And this is one of my top fours.
Yeah.
And it just didn't make it. So, it's interesting. But what you're looking at here right now is just an unbelievable, wonderful array of bourbons
and
that are
mostly
all
affordable.
different. Huh?
And mostly affordable.
And mostly affordable.
These ones not as affordable as in terms of a regular, but down through here,
you can definitely jump into this one. For me is like I've always got to have it on my shelf. Like I've got my next purchase is getting another bottle of this because it's got to have it. That's how much I like it. And I think a lot of people do.
It's
my friend Kenny loves this. This is this was fun for us.
Yeah.
Hope that you get something out of it, partially for education, but also for us just, because we like talking about bourbon. It's fun for us. So comment, whatever you want to do, put some comments on there.
Yeah. What are your categories?
Yeah, that would be fun. This is by no means a barometer of truth. This is just what we feel.
Yeah.
And it's just fun. So
it is.
Well, thanks again for tuning in. We appreciate it. We're having a good time. Hope you are too.
For all bourbonmen.
Catch you later.
I love you.